what I'll do is I'll say the lyric and then I'll put a duck noise over the swear word. That'd be fun.
We'll see if that works. That's on you.
I know, I gotta figure that out. So if this doesn't work, I'm not putting it in the podcast.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the third episode of
The Duck Squad Podcast.
Yeah, we back at it once again. This time, we're doing a little bit different here for you. We got a different kind of album review for Haley. Tell these people what we got.
Yeah, so, we're still a new podcast. Excuse me.
That is not a part of the podcast.
What's that?
I was working on some other beats for something
Ooh.
else. That's a different episode.
We got DJ J up in the house.
What's good, y'all? Book me for your weddings.
All right, so we're new still, but so far it's been Post Malone this, Post Malone that, blah blah blah, and we need to do something a little different because we have some really fun things lined up and we're planning to do soon. So we kind of want to branch out and do a few different genres here and there.
Yeah, we love Post Malone, but this is not the Post Malone podcast.
Unfortunately. Post Malone, sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us. We'll talk about your music and your life all day, buddy.
Yeah. We got some really exciting things coming, like Tyler, the Creator, just dropped Chromacopia, and it's going to be 2026 Album of the Year. It is. Like, there's no way it's not. We got our friends who are coming on the podcast soon. We're going to talk about a concert that we went to recently that was a ton of fun. So to kind of give us a little break from all of the pop and the rap and everything, we're gonna go back to 2014 for a second.
Yeah, this is sort of a classic review, if you like to say. This album came out about 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2014. It's 10-year anniversary of this album. This is a little more of like my personal music taste too. This is a little more of like outside of all the new music that's happening.
Yeah, this is a little more her thing because I've honestly never actually heard of this band or this album before. So this was I've heard this kind of music before, but this was overall a bit of a new experience for me. So it was exciting to listen to something a little bit different.
I love doing that too with your friends, just exchanging different music tastes and different artists and stuff. That's how you find a lot of your favorite artists and stuff most of the time anyway, is you just exchange different tastes and things, and it's just really cool to do that. So this band and this album that we're reviewing today is from a band called This Wildlife. They've been around for quite a while. This is their second studio album that came out in 2014. So it's having their 10th anniversary this year. So happy birthday to Clouded from This Wildlife. If they haven't already, they're going on a tour and they're playing this album, I think, in whole. Like, they're playing the whole thing.
I love when artists do that.
I know. And they're not coming anywhere near me, and I'm so sad because I don't have the money to be driving to all these big cities to come see them. But I'm so happy for them that they're doing this. This is really cool. But if you don't know who This Wildlife is, it's just two guys. They're friends. They're from California. Their names are Kevin and Anthony. They were both drummers, and they met, decided to just start a band. And I think they spent a while trying to find like a singer because like one of them was going to do drums, one was going to do guitar, and it just didn't work out. So they were just like, we'll just do it ourselves. Their whole vibe is very DIY, and I really love that because I think it's just really cool when you get to watch an artist kind of just do their own thing.
I actually didn't know a lot about much. Like I said, I'd never heard of the band before, so I didn't know much of any of that information you were just saying. But yeah, I think it works. Just the two of them as a duo, because just listening to this album, there are a lot of beautiful harmonies that you get from just like one or two people, as opposed to like a whole overall group. And they themselves have beautiful voices, I think, that really help carry the messages of these songs. So
yeah.
I think it really works as just the two of them, as opposed to having another lead singer.
Yeah, it feels super low key, honestly, when it's just two people. I found this album like back in 2014 when it first came out. I was still in high school, and this came up when I was like in like a study hall, and I had my old iPod Touch, and I had Pandora.
Yeah, iPod Touch back in 2014.
Yes, you didn't?
I dropped my iPod like back in 2011.
Okay, whatever. I was poor, so I had that. Listen, I had an
I'm
iPod
not
Touch.
hating.
I had an iPod Touch up until college. That was my cell phone. That was my MP3 player. That was my everything to me. I still have it somewhere. I have to find it because I'm pretty sure I still have Flappy Bird on it too. Do you remember that?
I remember Flappy Bird. It's coming back.
He is coming back. I forgot about that. That's so fun. So I found this album back in 2014 when it came out, and I just listened to a couple songs on Pandora, and I was like, this band's really good, and I've just been a fan ever since. So it's been really cool to watch them grow, and they have 6 albums out now, so it's been really cool to, be a fan from the start, because that doesn't happen to me a lot. But they just released their 6th album last year called Never Fade, and it's very cool. I have it on vinyl. It's very pretty.
We'll have to review that album sometime.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, like when we find artists, we kind of like sticking with them a little bit. So like, yeah, I think in the future you'll be seeing more of this Wildlife reviews.
Yeah.
But for now, we got Clouded. Was there anything else you want to say? Do you want to dive into the songs?
Hang on.
I wasn't rushing you. I was just asking.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of fun facts about this.
But see, you know the band better than I, so
I know these guys.
Go off. Go off, Queen.
Another thing I forgot to mention, which is something that I hear them say a lot. I've seen them live quite a few times, and whenever they're doing a set, they'll kind of stop and be like, "Hi guys, like we're This Wildlife," and then they call themselves the Hot Topic version of Mumford and Sons. It fits. They're right.
They do kind of have like that. It's very guitar driven, like Mumford and Sons. So I get that.
Yeah. It really fits.
There's no banjo though.
No banjo, sorry. This genre that they kind of fall in is like a folky pop punk, and I was really big into my pop punk phase in high school. Like I was listening to This Wildlife, I was listening to like All Time Low and all these pop punk artists, because that's what I was into. It's a very wide genre, but it just really means sad lyrics, happy beats. This album's a little folky, but that's kind of what it is.
The genre is also well known for artists like Green Day, Blink-182. If you want to throw it back a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
It exists all in that sort of realm, that sort of genre right there.
Yeah, it blends into all different genres too. Like you got, like grunge, you have alternative, even some of the folk stuff. I've seen these guys live maybe 3 or 4 times. I was really lucky, and I got to see them live on the last Warped Tour that ever ran. And I'm not talking about these stupid little 3-day festivals that they're doing now. That is not Warped Tour. That's not Warped Tour. I got to see them on the very last Warped Tour, which was, I believe, in 2018. And if you know anything about Warped Tour, or if you don't, basically where all of the quote-unquote bigger bands play are on the Vans stage. And there's a Vans left and right. They split this giant stage in half, and then they kind of take turns going on. And This Wildlife was on one of the Vans stages on their last Warped Tour, and it was really cool to see because they talked about how first when on Warped Tour, they were just on some small little dinky stage where all the newer artists are, and now they're ending it on the biggest stage at Warped Tour, which was very cool. They also just last year, and I think they're still going on a world tour, they're going on a tour with Yellowcard right now, which is also a big pop punk band.
Oh yeah, I like a Yellowcard.
Yeah, I saw them last summer, and they opened for Yellowcard. It was really cool. But I felt so bad because we got there. My boyfriend was so sweet, and he got us tickets, and he drove us up there. But it was a crazy day, and we just didn't get there in time. And unfortunately, I missed half of their set. We sprinted through the venue. As soon as we got through security, we're like, all right, run. And I caught their last 3 songs, and it was just, they're so cool to hear live, and they're so fun. There's only 2 of them, but the amount of energy they have on stage is just really cool.
There's a lot you can do with a little. Sounds like they make the most out of it.
Yeah, quality over quantity. All right, I think that's all I wanted to say.
She went off, guys.
Sorry, I really popped off. I really love this band.
It's all good.
But Clouded's such a classic album to listen to, especially when you're thinking about the vibe of 2014. This is the kind of genre 2014 was all about. Just that sad lyrics, happy beats, a lot of breakup songs back then. I'm thinking about Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson, she was kind of the queen of that at the time.
Yeah. I mean, this album's really sweet to listen to. It's just really all about coping and healing through any kind of breakup, any kind of hardship, just going through life in general. So it's a really sweet, relaxing album to listen to, and then it still has those few songs you can really yell the lyrics to, which I really like the equal mix of both, but they're not super contrast.
Right.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
It's all good, you know. No, it's good to give people an intro if they don't know the band. Because I
That is
didn't know the band, so that was good for me.
They're very fun. Oh, I met them at Warped Tour too. The very last Warped Tour, I met them.
Yeah,
They're
she's
so
best
nice.
friends with them.
They're so nice. They, after their set, I remember they were like, "We want to meet everybody. Everybody come to our table and we'll meet every single person that's in line." So I was like, "Oh, sick." So I ran up there, I waited in line, and I was hanging out with the people in line. I got a CD signed by them, which was really cool. They were very sweet, and I took a picture with them. Anyway, they're super sweet. Clouded's really cool. We're gonna talk about it now. I'm done spewing random facts.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and dive on into the first track on the album. Opening track number 1, Concrete. What'd you think?
I think. What did you think? This was your first time listening to this album. I want to know what you thought. I have my thoughts.
Want to hear my opinion? Because we
Yes.
accept opinions.
We have and we accept opinions.
Okay, well, I thought this was a very strong opening to an album. I really like when albums they start off like very hard hitting, sort of like. That's the best way to describe it with the music. The music, it was very guitar driven at first, and there was kind of like a switch up in the tempo a little bit throughout. Like it started off a little bit slow, then you got to like around the chorus, and it just hit you very hard. So like it was hitting me, the message of it. You just build up everything, have it strong, sort of like concrete, just to have it tumble down. I thought like it was a very beautiful message. There are a lot of beautiful messages on this album that I think are displayed well. And I was talking about it a little bit in the beginning. I think what also helps elevate the message of this song, and a lot of them in general, is driven by the vocalist. These guys have very beautiful voices. The harmonies worked very well here, and it really helped to display the message of the song. So I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a really great way to start off an album.
Yes, I agree. It's such a perfect song to just open this album with. This is the exact vibe of Clouded. What I really like about this album is when you listen to the opening lyric for most of the songs, they have the first line really like sets the tone for whatever song it is. The very opening lines is, "I've got feet like concrete and a head like lead." Once you hear that, you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, I kind of understand that. I can relate to that on some level." That kind of opens you up to listening to the rest of the lyrics, and you're like, "Oh, this all really makes sense to me in some way." You can relate to it, however. Did you have more to say?
No, I just really thought it was a strong opening. They have a lot of messages on this album that I think are very relatable, that were very hitting to me. So this one in particular, I thought was really hitting.
Yeah.
But I really just thought overall this was a very strong way to start the album. If I were to give it a rating, I'd say about 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Honestly, I rated this 8 out of 10 too. Because
wow.
I know, we don't have beef. This is great.
It was just the one Post Malone song we had beef on, guys.
Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is a great song to relate to if you're dealing with like a compulsive liar in your life, or somebody who's just not super healthy to be around, or the way you relate to it is like suddenly you realize there's no love anymore, or love wasn't enough to keep the relationship going, but you feel stuck. Hence, feet like concrete. I love that simile. I love that they opened with it's such a cheesy simile, but it makes so much sense.
It does make a lot of sense because, concrete is supposed to be something very strong, something that can hold together for lifetimes, but to still see like the cracks in it just to see it fall apart. It very much relates well to like relationships of any kind.
Oh yeah. Once you feel like once you're in it too long, you feel like you're actually stuck. Like how the concrete has hardened and you're just kind of stuck there.
Right.
It's hard though, because until you realize that you deserve better, you really do feel like you're stuck. And it's really hard to get out of those types of situations sometimes. And it doesn't even have to be like a relationship. This can be any toxic relationship. This could be, I don't know, this could be a toxic job. This could be a harmful household. It could be anything.
Yeah, you can take this a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
It's just explaining overall a basic message in relationships, how they build up and how they can fall apart, or how you can just feel stuck within them. Sometimes you feels like something that you really enjoy, that you really love, you're going through, but then you just feel like you're stuck in a rut, sort of, and you don't know how to get yourself out of it. Like, that's something you can relate on many different levels.
Oh, yeah. I really appreciated the message in this. I really love the chorus in this song. This is such a perfect song you can either just really sit and absorb the lyrics, or you can just sing along to it. This is a very flexible song, I think, in that sense. Did you know this is also the longest song on the album? It's 4 minutes and 3 seconds. It's the longest song.
I did notice it was one of the longer ones. I wasn't sure if it was the longest, but like when I saw it was over 4 minutes, I'm like, this is a pretty long song.
Yeah, what I really appreciate about songs that are longer than like 2 minutes is you really feel like the message they got the message across.
I think it's also important to remember that this isn't a new album. This album came out back in 2014. I know we mentioned that before, but like, 2014, that era was a little bit before the streaming era. Like that was still more like around the time that people bought albums or downloaded them from iTunes or something.
Yeah.
So songs back then were a lot longer. They're like close to 4 or 5 minutes back at that around that time. I think around the streaming era is when like we've started getting more of these like 2-minute songs. Which I mean, I'm not hating. There are a lot of good songs that are just short and sweet like that. But yeah,
Sabrina Carpenter.
That might be coming soon.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Might be reviewing that soon. That's a different day.
But yeah, you're right. Like this was around the time where you would still go buy the physical album, which I really miss doing. I should still do that more, but everything like is gotten so expensive. Like if I went to FYE back in like 2014 to go buy this, it probably would have been like $10. Now it would be like $15.99. But actually, if you go on this Wildlife's website to buy their merch ever, it's actually very affordable. Like their CDs and their vinyls and their shirts, they're all very affordable. That's why I have so many shirts. I dress for the occasion also. I'm wearing this Wildlife shirt.
Yeah, no, this is a fan we got right here, yo.
I'm a fan.
Kendrick, whenever you drop your next album, we'll review that too.
Yeah, we got a lot of Kendrick to talk about. So I appreciate that they put a lot of work into each song, and overall just a very like understanding band. Like their merch is very affordable. Their concert tickets are very affordable. I've gone to see them at different venues, and every time the ticket has been very affordable, and I really appreciate that because it's really hard to go support your artist when you're broke as sorry,
language,
broke as
broke as a duck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, broke as a duck. Okay. Yeah.
This is the Duck Squad podcast.
Yeah.
Imagine that F word was a duck.
I gotta do that.
What the duck?
Concrete, I rated an 8 out of 10. It's a solid start to Clouded, and it has really great lyrics and a great message.
I agree. Very solid start. 8 out of 10 for me too. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and move on to the next track. Number 2, Over It.
Over It.
I really like this song. I think it takes a lot of maturity, expose yourself sometimes, because I feel like he was exposing himself sort of in these lyrics a little bit, like the mistakes that he's made in relationships, how he's had to not only get over the relationship, but kind of get over the mistakes that he's made. Because sometimes, like when you make mistakes, you kind of find yourself in a bit of a rut, trying to find your way out of it, trying to sort of forgive yourself, but you can't help but let go of the mistakes that you've made. But to, like, try and take this and take these lessons that you've learned from a relationship and carry that on in your life into future relationships and just building yourself as a person in general. You don't see a lot of artists, I think, expose themselves in that way, get very personal like that. That's what I got sometimes from some of these lyrics, very specifically in the chorus. He's starting to heal, starting to feel, we were kids, made mistakes. He's made mistakes. I'm sure whoever the person he was in a relationship has made mistakes. But it's a very beautiful thing, not just pointing out the mistakes that your ex-partner has made, but the mistakes that you've made yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was a very beautiful thing and very personal to expose that for yourself. So I really love this song.
Yeah, it's a big step to do when you're healing from something. This song hits. I love this song. This has always been one of my top This Wildlife songs. I feel like this is one of the like quote-unquote heavier acoustic songs on the album because they're all acoustic. It's just 2 guys, 2 guitars.
I think some of it works a little bit better than others, and I think particularly here it works very well when it's just like guitar driven, just very acoustic.
Yeah. You can really tell when you listen to some of these songs, like you can really like, even though it's not always there, you can kind of hear the drum beat in the song, which is really cool. Actually, if you listen to their first album that came out, it's very different. It's very like traditional pop punk. And they just decided, I'm going to sell my drums and we're just going to do this acoustic now. And so we got Clouded out of that. But anyway.
But if I were to rate this song, I actually gave it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
I really liked it.
Yeah, this is a great song. This is a great song that kind of just talks about recovering and healing from any kind of toxic situation in your life. I really like the lyrics, "I'm at my worst when I'm with you." This song always hit me over the years. Like, I've just have been able to relate to it at some level, regardless of whatever I'm dealing with in my life. And it's one of those catchy songs that really gets stuck in your head, and you really just let the lyrics sink in, and you really just take it all in. I really want to hear a heavy version of the song. What I mean is like the whole thing. Drums, guitar, bass, backup vocals. Like, there are backup vocals in the song, but you know what I mean? Like, I want a rock version of the song, because the song would go so hard. It would be so good.
There are a lot of songs that are acoustic that I think could hit really well, but like a full live band. That's a beautiful thing. Like when your song is just driven by like a guitar or even like by a piano, but it's just like with one instrument. You know, because you can take that and you can do a lot with it when you add a little more percussion with some drums, some bass. There's a lot you can do with a little there. I think a lot of these songs would benefit well from like more band driven sounds. Not that I think that it needs it, because there are a lot of good songs here that I think work well just with the guitar, just with being acoustic. But I think it also lends well with just being live with a live band overall.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even without any kind of heavy drum beat to it, you can still bang your head to it if you really wanted to. That's how you can tell how much passion and work goes into these songs, is just you can literally feel the music.
I think it's also a testament to the vocals and the passion from these guys
that
they're able to carry that, even with the very little production, a little bit of the guitar that's behind them, that they're able to carry that with their voices. It works very well.
I rated the song a 9.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
This is probably my second favorite song on the album. We'll get to my first one in a little bit.
It's coming up. I think I see your notes. But
Ooh. See, this is the thing. We'll start getting ready to do this podcast, and then I'll be like, oh, I forgot to do something. Let me go do this quick before we sit down for an hour. And then he's peeking through my notes, and then he goes, all right, we have beef. Well, I guess that was only one time, but...
It was the one song.
Now I get scared.
It was the one Post Malone song.
I had to go get my Chewy box. It was outside. They left it outside this time. Somebody could steal it. That's expensive. That's my cat food.
What are we talking about?
That's why I had to leave. That's why
I was like, okay, how was that relating to the album? But I get it. Okay,
Chewy, sponsor us.
We'll review your cat food.
No, we're done with that. We don't work at the pet store anymore.
We're done with that. Yeah. That's a different podcast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm all set with this song. If you want to move on to track number 3.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, track number 3. No More Bad Days. Just the title alone, I think it's very easy to relate to. Just wanting to have no more bad days, because like everyone, it's life. You have your good days, you have your bad days, but when you go through those rough times, it just seems like you're never gonna get out of it, and it just seems like things are gonna get worse. Like literally, like the first lyrics on this song are, "I thought we hit rock bottom, but then the floor gave out."
Such a good line.
It's a beautiful line, because like that's how it feels sometimes when you're just going through rough times. Like I've been through rough times. I've been going through some rough times. I just feel like things can't get any worse, but then like my heart just sinks even more. So like I very much related to the message of this song, and then just on the chorus, you're like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm gonna have bad days, but like that doesn't mean I have to get like this down, this much of a run into it. So like, you know what? No more bad days. It's gonna be clear from here. Not just for you, just for the people around you, because like there are people who also around you who have tough times, who get down, and who need some sort of uplifting message. Because like there's a lot you can do with how you display yourself. It can do a lot for other people. So I think there are a lot of people out there who are feeling down, who could use an uplifting message from someone else, and I think that's a beautiful thing that they chose to do with this song.
Oh yeah, it's great to just spread the positivity. I really liked that. Did you have more to say?
Again, the vocal performance here was very strong. I'll bring up the vocals a lot because I think their harmonies work well with each other. I think they have very beautiful voices.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, I know he has a very clear tone to his voice, which I really like. Again, just being like a guitar-driven album, it really helps that their vocal performances, the passion in their vocals cuts through on those kind of songs. So it worked really well here. That was overall my thoughts on this track. What do you think?
This song has a really special place in my heart. And also, before I even get into that, I also want to say that I really appreciate that this song follows number 2, Over It, because you have Concrete and Over It, and you have these songs with a little more, almost like a hopeless feeling, but then you have No More Bad Days come in, and it's just a nice, like, uplifting, sadly cheerful song to just kind of remind you that it gets better. So I just appreciate the lineup of the songs in that sense. This song has a really special place in my heart because when I was a kid, where I lived, I didn't really always want to be home. So when I got home from school, what I would do is just grab my dog and then I would just go. I lived out in like a very rural, like, am I saying that right? Country era. I feel like
Where y'all?
I lived in the country, y'all. So there was all these like big fields you could walk through. I could walk through the woods. Like we could walk miles. So I would just take my dog and go walking until it got dark. And I would just sit in the fields and listen to music. And this song always came on. And so whenever I hear the song, I think of my dog because he passed away a couple of years ago before COVID. So this song reminds me of him. And I really like that.
It's a very beautiful song. Very beautiful message. A message I think is very important to hear for a lot of people. So, like, if you do feel as though you're very down or things are keep wanting to go bad in your life, keep getting worse, I think this is a very beautiful song to put on to kind of help lift yourself up a little bit. I really enjoyed this song overall. I gave it 8 out of 10.
That's nice. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional.
It's all good.
I didn't think I would get this emotional, but it's fine.
These songs hit you.
They really do. But I still love this song to this day. One of the things that my special someone and I did right before we started dating again is we made playlists for each other to listen to.
Ooh.
And we didn't know we were doing that for each other until one of us was just like, oh, I'm making a playlist for us to like listen to when we hang out. And then the other one was like, oh, I'm doing that too. And I added the song on mine. So it's still very special to me. I just really appreciate the message of it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
You just have to hold out and you just kind of have to go through it before it gets better.
That's just life. You know, like it's going to get worse before it gets better. But like you have to imagine what's on the other side, what's waiting for you. And then you're going to realize, oh, you know, what I went through wasn't too bad. Or at least it was worth going through for what I have right now.
Oh, yeah. You really appreciate everything that brought you up into where you are now, whereas it's a much better place. I forgot what I was going to say. This song's so flowy, though. I really love how it's not a hard song to listen to.
No.
It flows so well throughout the entire song to the point where you're like, oh, it's over? And it's not a short song. 3.5 minutes long.
Yeah. I meant to say this back when we were reviewing Concrete. But a lot of these songs, you mentioned Mumford & Sons. I also kind of got like an early sort of like Ed Sheeran kind of vibe from these songs. Particularly like when he was a little bit more guitar driven.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me that. Like, yeah, he was just him and his guitar. And like you hear his voice and how it cuts through with the message of the song, of his songs, because he had a lot of heavy messages in his songs. He still does, but like when it was like a little bit more guitar driven, like it really cut through. I think that's very similar to what's going on here with this album.
Yeah, that is actually really true. I think my favorite lyric in this song is "Resilience is my promise."
Mm-hmm.
That's a really sweet lyric. I think every line is great, but that one always really stuck out to me.
It's a very well written song.
Yeah, towards the end of the song, where he's like, all right, like, I have to be resilient. I have to just keep moving on. It reminds me of, like, walking through fields and walking through, like, the woods where I'd walk through with my dog. So that was always really fun to do. He was always down. He was a very chill dog with me. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. Let's go. I'll keep walking. I don't care. We'll go wherever. I don't care.
But all right. That's all I had to say for this. Are you good with this song?
Yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said 8 out of 10. It's all good. Next track, number 4, History.
Yeah. Oh, what I wanted to say also about No More Bad Days. I forgot.
Psych.
This was one of their top songs. This is one of their most streamed songs.
Oh, on Spotify?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Like
of all time. This is one of their top songs.
I get it. It's a good song.
Yeah. It reminded me right when you said History, because History is and has been one of their top songs. Like, this song and No More Bad Days, I think really helped them get a little more popular and blow up a little bit, because this is how they gained a lot of their fans and popularity, is through this album.
Mm-hmm.
But History, what do you think?
History, I think this might arguably be the best song on the album.
Ooh.
I thought this was a really great song. You get like in a point in your life where you and someone you get over there?
Sorry. Put my phone down and it just flew.
It flew across the room, people. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, you get to that point in your life, you were in a relationship You break up, unfortunately, but you go your separate ways. You start to learn to live your life without each other. It's life. You tend to find your way back to people, sort of, when you're in like these different spaces in your life. And you admit, there's history there, but I feel like we've grown so much as our own people in our own lives in our different ways. I don't think this really works in any kind of way anymore. So I think it's just best that we leave it the way that it was, keep our separate ways, keep our separate lives, because I've grown into a completely different person, and I feel as though you've done the same thing. So that's what I think is the message is displaying here. And also, I've noticed, particularly in the music, I felt like there was a little more instrumentation here compared to some of the other songs. So, which I thought was a really nice change of pace. Sometimes when you have like an album that's like very driven by like one particular instrument, it can get a little bit samey. I think maybe that was like one complaint I kind of had with the album, but I think it helped with songs like this, because like this definitely picks up a little bit more in the instrumentation, which I enjoyed, and it worked really well. And the vocals, the passion in their voices, I think really was a beautiful thing here. It really cut through. So I really love this song. This might be my favorite. What did you think?
Ooh, I'm so glad that you love the song, because this song is this is definitely one of their best songs, because it's one of their most popular songs now. I don't know if they still do, but they used to close their sets with the song a lot of times, where it'd be towards the end, because everybody wants to hear this song live because it's so good.
Yeah, I imagine this song would work really well live.
Oh yeah, it's so okay. I'll get into it, because the song is so cool to hear live because of many reasons. This song is so important for this album, because kind of like what you said, the first 3 songs they're a little mellow. They all kind of sound similar, but then you get to number 4 and they're like, all right, we're gonna take it up a notch now, we're gonna get into history, and this song just really takes off. The whole message is really just, it doesn't matter how much history or how much time you spent you're with somebody or in a situation, the history doesn't define you. You can still choose to do something else with your life. You can pack your you know what, and leave. I don't want to swear again.
There's a lyric in the song that there's some cussing on this album. There is.
Sorry. Sometimes you have to swear. Okay.
It's all good. We won't say the word, but like I think you got the idea.
If I really am good at editing these podcasts, what I'll do is I'll say the lyric and then I'll put a duck noise over the swear word. That'd be fun.
We'll see if that works. That's on you.
I know, I gotta figure that out. So if this doesn't work, I'm not putting it in the podcast. But your history, it doesn't define your future. If you need to pack your shit and leave, then you can. In most cases, you can. If you can't, that really sucks too, because, I don't know, you can't always get out of stuff or leave things safely. I mean, regardless of how much time and work you've put into something, if it's not working for you or the other person, you can leave. That's okay. Just because you moved in with them, just because you're engaged, just because you've known them for years, if it doesn't work, you don't have to stay.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that.
This became such a staple song of the 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a year after this album came out, I heard the song everywhere.
Yeah.
Spotify was still somewhat new at that time. It would come up on my Spotify a lot before I really was like, okay, I'm a real fan of this band now.
I was saying earlier that, again, I never heard of the band, but when I was listening to it for the first time, some of it sounded somewhat familiar to me. And this song in particular sounded familiar. So I feel like I may have heard it unintentionally when it was scrolling across a playlist or something, or just in general, listening it with other people, it may have come up. So I would imagine, this being one of their more popular songs, I totally understand that.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure this is Anthony's version of the song, because I think he was the one that was really okay, I want to do acoustic stuff. I don't really want to play the drums for everything now. Mm-hmm. We should do acoustic stuff. And so I feel like this is more of his version of the song, which is great. I love the acoustic banger almost, you could say, because you could really tell the song could go in both directions. It's a wonderful acoustic song, and it can also be a great heavy song, which brings me to one of my points I really wanted to mention, is that recently, within the past couple of years, they released a heavy version of the song, which is called Kevin's Version, and it's basically just a heavier pop punk version of this song.
Ooh.
It's very cool. I sent you a link to the video of it yesterday.
Yeah, I watched. There definitely is a lot more instrumentation. It works either way. I really like both versions.
If you go on YouTube and search History This Wildlife Kevin's version, you'll see their video for it. Another thing I really like in the music video is that you can kind of see all of their different props for their sets. In the background, there's big Game Boy with a screen that actually works in it. They built that themselves.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that tour. They had a whole Game Boy, like Mario kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
See this? They would dress up as Mario and Luigi and stuff, and it was really cute.
I did see that.
Yeah, I saw them. That was in 2022, and I got to see them. They came in the area, which was really cool because not every artist comes in the area that we live in, but they also have, like, on their Facebook pages and stuff, like, they have videos of them building the set. They build all their sets, but it was really cool to see them build this Game Boy that's in the background because it has actual videos playing in it, and it goes along with each song that they play.
Mm-hmm.
In one part of the video, a little later on, there's like one of the green pipes in Mario, and he's like standing on it. Oh, it's really fun. I love that they're a DIY band. They just do everything themselves, which is really cool because they put a lot of work into the things that they do. But yeah, I love the song. I wrote down some of my favorite lyrics from the song.
Go off.
I'm going off.
Go off, man.
I'm tired of the weight when you lean on me. If I fell, you would never stay to carry me. Like, that song hit.
That's a heavy lyric.
That lyric hit.
It's very heavy.
Yeah. And that's towards the end of the song, too. I feel like towards the end, they always have these really heavy lines of lyrics. In the beginning, they'll kind of open it and say, basically, like, what the song's about, and kind of give you, like, oh, okay, yeah. And then they go into these deeper lyrics slower and slower into it, and you're like, oh, yeah, you're right. I rated the song 10 out of 10. This is great. This is a hit. The song really gave them a lot of popularity, which is very well deserved because they work really hard.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, no, I just thought it was a really fantastic song. I think it works really well. I think it was a nice change of pace, very lovely message, really strong, powerful lyrics. It was just a really great song to me. With that, we're ready to move on to track number 5.
Number 5.
Roots and Branches, in parentheses, Meant to Be Alone.
This song is very underrated, I think. I'm so glad that they're going to play this album in full, but I really wish they were coming in this area because I want to hear the song live so badly because when you listen to it, it's a little mid, but when you really listen to the lyrics, it's such a great song, and I want to hear it live so badly.
I think the lyrics really carry it because, again, like, this was around the time I was afraid things were getting a little bit too samey with just the guitar driven only. But I think this is actually one of the better written songs on this album. I think this song has very, really powerful, great lyrics on this. It's
very story driven.
That's another thing. I really like songs that are story driven. That's what I was mentioning before, like when we were reviewing like country music, like there's a lot of storytelling, a lot of strong storytelling, like in old country songs. And I think storytelling works across all different kinds of genres, all different types of music. And I think it works really well right here. It's played right here in this song.
Yeah, the song's really, to me, it's about when you put all of your time and effort and all your love into building something, and all of a sudden you look back and you realize that it's not the same as it used to be. Things have changed. Sometimes that really sucks, that things just aren't the same anymore, but you have to move on.
And again, it's like what I was saying before a little bit earlier. You know, it takes a lot to admit yourself as part of a blame to some things. You know, sometimes you tend to put it off on other people, but, you know, sometimes you have to look inward at yourself, realize what you're doing yourself is not working. The way you are, right, is not working for yourself or for the people around you. So to expose that to yourself, they do it here again in this song. I think it takes a lot. It made you know, like, I was just not the best friend. Will I ever grow as a person? Will I ever be a better man? It takes a lot to just admit that to anybody, to yourself, and to put it onto a song. So I think that's a very powerful thing. There's a lot of respect for me. Again, that's why I think it's just such a great written song, and why I think I really enjoyed this song. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Me too. I really like that this song I really like because it has such a nostalgic vibe to me, kind of like what you were saying, and looking back and reflecting on things or your life and just realizing how different it is now. Yeah.
Gave
it an 8 out of 10.
It's a good song. Yeah, maybe a bit where the album was getting a little bit samey, which is why I don't have as much to say. But I really do think that the lyrics help to carry it a bit more. Because I think maybe like instrumentally wise, or maybe not with as powerful of lyrics, I probably would have maybe actually given it like a 7. But I think the lyrics really saved it for me. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
No, I think you summed it up really well because I agree. This is a great lyrically. It was a
It's very well written.
yeah.
Okay, but
Ugh, I'm all thrown off because my throat got really dry. Ugh.
we're recording this one a little earlier, guys, so our voices aren't entirely awake.
Yeah, we were up early today.
Yeah, we usually
It's
record.
not that early.
Well, we started. I'm just saying, we record later in the day.
Yeah.
Like we're at work. So we out talking out. Our voices are wide and awake, so we sound a little bit more lively. Like I just woke up like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, and it's Saturday. You're like, yeah, we made it to the weekend. And when I make it to the weekend, I'm like, oh, I just want to sit and do nothing. I just want to rot on the couch. But I can't. That 9 to 9 I talked about? Those weekends are short for me, man, because sometimes I really do gotta be working all weekend.
And that's on top of your 9 to 5 that you got too, right?
Yeah,
That's crazy. You got a crazy schedule.
I do. So do you, though.
Yeah, that's true. Like I work a
Busy.
9 to 5, then like I do a lot of things I gotta take care of after.
Yeah, you're busy.
We do this for y'all. We woke up early for y'all. This is supposed to be my sleep-in time.
This is for y'all, too.
This is for y'all fast. We go ahead and move on to the next track. Number 6, Bound to Break. What you think?
I love how clear the story is in the song. It's so easy to understand, and you can still kind of pick apart the lyrics a little bit and interpret them in your own way. But what I really appreciate is the vibe of this whole album in general is pretty similar for each song. It's all kind of, about healing and stuff like that, and the songs will start to kind of sound similar. But this song and its message, I feel like it gets told in such a unique way.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the similes they use, the lyricism, you're bound to break if you stay the same.
That's true.
Like, I feel like a lot of people just talk about moving on and changing who you are or, changing things about yourself. But this is like, if we don't do anything, if I don't do anything about the situation, we got a guest here right now. We have a guest over here. We got Arlo in the house. He came over and said hi.
This is one of Haley's cats, Arlo.
Arlo, come sit. Arlo, sit with us. Come on, come sit.
He must really like this song.
He loves this wildlife, actually. When I first got him back in 2017, 2018, hi, buddy, he hid under my bed for the first week I had him because he was terrified. But I started playing this wildlife and he came out. So I think he really likes this wildlife.
Kevin, Anthony, if you're listening, just know you got a fan in Arlo. He up here on the microphone.
He's got hair on the microphone.
Just know he left his mark on the microphone.
He did. I see a little bit of drool on it, but that's okay.
That's your microphone.
It's my microphone. He loves the song and he loves this wildlife. He wanted to sit and join us, and I love that for him. What was I saying?
You were just talking about the message of the song.
Yeah. You're bound to break if you stay the same.
Yeah.
You realize in situations with people, you're like, oh, well, we're not working. Like, this isn't going anywhere, and we're just not healthy for each other. And if we keep doing this, I'm going to explode. I can't do this.
I've said it before, but it takes a lot to admit that, like, you're part of the problem. You have your own issues, and that what you're bringing to the table isn't working along with, because it's very easy to just blame other people for what's going on, for the issues. But to also admit, I have some blame in this too. It takes a lot. I see that this has been done a lot throughout the album as I go through the lyrics, as I listen to it overall. There's a lot of, I admit I've made mistakes. I'm a bit of a mess. So that's why I think we need to step away from this, just learn to grow. Because that's a very mature way to look at a relationship. A lot of relationships fall apart because no one wants to admit that they're bringing problems to the table, but they're admitting to it in a lot of these songs, particularly here too. So I think it works really well here. I think instrumentally wise, there could have been a little bit more. Again, like I know you said it too. This is where things were getting a little bit samey. I think this could have benefited a little bit more from a little bit more maybe like percussion. Overall, more in the production side of it. Lyrically, I think this is another beautiful song. Very beautiful, passionate vocals from these guys. I gave this song a 7 out of 10. This is probably one of my, just in comparison to the other songs, maybe one of my least favorite, but it's still a good song.
That's okay. I only laughed because I also gave the song a 7 out of 10.
Wow, we're agreeing.
Like the samies. I mean, this is such a great song, but they start to kind of sound a little too similar. But at the same time, I really appreciate the message of the song because recognizing change is really important. Because even though change is scary and terrifying, it kind of has to happen sometimes. Most of the time, it works out for the better anyway. But the first step is recognizing that, like, hey, if this keeps going on, we're gonna hate each other. This is not it. We gotta go.
You don't grow if things stay the same.
Exactly.
Which is what they're saying in the song. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a pattern, having things being a little bit the same, but like if they're just like that all the time, there's bound to be some issues that come up. So growth, change is very important in relationships and your lives in general.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I really had to say for this song. Do you have anything else?
No, that's about it. Arlo, do you have any thoughts?
No, it's
He just likes to rub his face on stuff. So he's just rubbing his face on the microphone.
We're gonna move on to the next track, see what he thinks. Track number 7, Better With You. Arlo, what'd you think?
Ew. I don't know if that comes through on the mic or what, but he's just like rubbing his face and his mouth on it.
He loves the microphone. The microphones get 10 out of 10 for Arlo.
Yeah, Arlo loves the microphones. I'm gonna try to pick the hair out of mine. What did you think?
Yeah, getting into this song, I really enjoyed this one. Just going to a little bit of the lyrics on the chorus, just straight out saying, I'm better with you, you're better with me, I still miss our nights. Because, we talk a lot about how, sometimes when you break up, it's better to just admit, things aren't working here. Maybe we need to grow time apart to see what we're like as ourselves. And, sometimes when you do that, you tend to go down paths that just keep you further away, and then you come back and you realize, this doesn't work. But, sometimes there's other sides to that, saying, we do work. You help me to grow. Sometimes it's hard to grow the change when you're doing it all yourself. Sometimes it does work with the people around you, and it takes a lot to admit that to somebody, saying, I think you helped to make me a better man, and I think I helped to make you a better woman or man, whatever. You make me a better person, I make you a better person. We help to grow each other. And I think that's what's displayed well in this song. I think it's displayed very well in this song. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I really like the opening lines to the song too. I swear I see the seasons change more often than I see your face. Like, ooh, okay, we're going in on this one. But this song is so beautiful. When I listen to it, I still mistake it for a love song because it just sounds so sweet, and I love the melody in the song. I love how it opens. It sounds like a love song, but then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, it's actually not. Actually, kind of. It got me. It gets me every time. So I'm like, man, this song's so sweet. How is it a breakup song? It's called Better With You. But it's like you said, you did help me in some sense, but we're not good for each other still. But I'm moving on. Peace.
That's kind of how it is sometimes, Yeah. Sometimes you have to go through something to learn whether or not it works for you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I think this song kind of displays both sides of it. Sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't work.
There's also a secret feature on the song that is not listed.
Oh, yeah.
On Spotify.
Yeah. I was very surprised when I heard her come in. Like, I was like, oh, wait.
Jenna McDougall from Tonight Alive. I hope I said her last name correctly. Yeah, she came in and she had her own verse, and I love her voice. She sounds so great. Like, she has such a beautiful voice.
Yeah, I didn't know much about her either. Or you knew about her. I didn't know much about her. But I thought, her vocals, her performance really helped elevate this song as well. I'd have to listen to more of their music because I really enjoyed her voice. I thought she was very great.
Tonight Alive is so good. I don't listen to them as much as I really should. I was more into them when I was in my pop punk phase, when I was really deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
I did listen to them a little more, but I did see her set for Tonight Alive at the last Warped Tour as well. They were also on the Van stage, same as This Wildlife. They went on at like 11 in the morning. Because that's kind of how it was at Warped Tour, like, you're like, oh, what's the schedule gonna be like? And you run up to that giant blow-up schedule thing they have and take a picture of it, or buy the map that has the schedule on it. And sometimes your favorite band would play at like 11 in the morning, and sometimes they would play at 7 o'clock at night. You never really knew. I was like, okay, she's playing at 11. I gotta go catch her. And they sound so great live. She has such a great voice. I made her wave at me, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
No, you find connections with all these guys.
I don't know, man. I'm just kind of there, and they're just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess we'll acknowledge you. After Tonight Alive set, another band was playing. It was in an amphitheater, and I kind of just sat down for a minute to kind of just relax, and I saw her sitting off over to the side, like kind of just hanging out. So I just started waving, because I was like, maybe she'll see me, and she waved back at me, and I just kind of freaked out. I was like, oh my god, she waved at me. And she's probably like, oh, that's weird. I thought that was fun. This is a really great song because, okay, goodbye, Arlo.
He's leaving.
He's gone. He's gonna go take a nap. I rated this song a 9 out of 10 because I got a little bit of favoritism because I like this band so much. It's such a great song.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. It actually was maybe going to be like a 7 out of 10, but again, when Jenna came in, I thought it worked even better. So she herself gave it an extra point for me.
I love that.
Yeah. I'm going to have to listen to, I'm sorry, what was the band again?
Tonight Alive.
Tonight Alive.
Yeah,
I'm
really
going to go. I'm getting into this kind of music, y'all.
Yeah. You got to listen to one of the classics. It's called Lonely Girl.
Lonely Girl? Stand
and
by.
It's not Justin Bieber.
That's one less Lonely Girl. What's up, Beeps?
Ha ha ha. Lonely Girl.
Lonely Girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to check it out. That's all I have for this song. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
No, I'm good.
All right, we're going to move on. We're almost done with this, guys. Just about 10 tracks. Moving on to track number 8, Looking Back. What did you think?
This is my favorite song. It's my favorite song on Clouded. It always has been. I love this song. The lyrics, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Was this Paula Abdul?
Those lyrics are like the lyrics of my life almost. I've been able to relate to that line for so long, and I mean, like, not to sound pessimistic or anything. My life's pretty good. It's pretty good now, but every once in a while something will happen. I'm like, yeah, and I think of those lines, and then I think of the song, and then I listen to the song again, and I'm like, yeah. To me, it's really just about realizing that you can't live in the past and expect that you keep moving forward in life. You can't keep reminiscing on these things that are no longer relevant. You have to be able to focus on moving ahead and taking those steps forward in life.
You got to learn from the things in the past. You can't dwell on them, though. There's a very fine line between learning from your past and dwelling on it, because one helps to better yourself for the future, and one helps you to not move forward at all.
Yeah, it's a very, it's kind of a sad message, but they tell it in such a positive, uplifting way, which I really like in these kinds of pop punk songs. It's okay to reflect on things that have happened in the past if you believe it's going to help you learn from mistakes and learn from past events and make you better and end up on a positive note. The line, "It's gotta get easier from here," that line hits hard. It just doesn't get old to me. It's one of those songs you just kind of keep close and keep on your playlist, over time, and it's just one of those songs that you can always relate to, no matter where you are in life.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. This is a message that I think should definitely be carried out in everyone's life. You know, you're gonna have mistakes in the past. You're always growing. You're always changing as a person. But if you dwell on those things in the past, those mistakes, instead of learning to better yourself from them, then there's not going to be anything good for you lined up in the future. So I think this is a very important message to have in this song. I do want to say, at this point, there were things where I thought things message-wise, not just instrumentally, but message-wise, that things were getting a little bit similar, because I feel like we've kind of displayed this message a bit before.
Yeah.
As well. So I think that was kind of holding me back a little bit. Really loving it, I think, as much as you did. But
okay.
I still really liked it. I gave it about a 8 out of 10.
Oh, that's still good. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I have such favoritism, and I feel like I never really truly dislike a song, so it's hard for me to be it's hard for me to not say oh, it was a good song. I really like this song, because I like everything.
I don't like getting too negative. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I don't particularly like getting too negative about songs either.
Yeah.
There are songs I just flat out don't like. It's really different when you're just sitting down reviewing them, because you got to go through what you did like, what you don't like. So that's what I kind of had to do with these songs, because I didn't know these songs very well. So I had to be like, what did I like about this? What I did not like about this? What did I feel about the album overall? How it reflects when you put it all together. But yeah, I still really like this song. There's nothing really here I didn't like, but this maybe just wasn't really one of my favorite songs. This actually might be a bit of a 7 out of 10.
That's okay. We accept opinions.
So.
I just love the message and everything to the song, and I don't know. I've listened to it so many times over the years. It's still just I relate to it still. And also, if you want more bands to get into, there's another band that I'm really into, or was really into when I was deep in my pop punk phase, called Real Friends, and they covered the song. So if you want a heavy version of the song, they have it. So Real Friends also covered this song, and then This Wildlife took a Real Friends song and covered that.
I feel like there's a lot of connection in the pop punk world. So they take songs and they do covers of each other's songs.
Yeah, it's really fun. And also the whole punk goes pop albums that come out and they all cover pop songs. That's really fun too. Pop punk gets such a bad rap because of the drama that goes down, which is, I mean, very understandable because the whole pop punk genre and the whole Warped Tour like era has kind of a sour taste to it because of certain people that take advantage of their quote unquote fame, or you know what I mean, and just take advantage of their fans, which is very unfortunate. That kind of gives the genre a bad rap. Regardless, I really love the genre and the artists that are nice. Don't be mean, people. We want to listen to your music. And if you get canceled, I can't listen to your music anymore.
I can't.
So stop getting canceled and doing bad things.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry, everybody. Can't do it. But that also made me think. There's a pop punk album of Disney songs that came out recently. I think I mentioned to you before.
Yeah, I've listened to a couple. I haven't listened to them all yet.
I listened to the whole thing. It's very good. It's very good. There's a lot of great bands that came together for it. And that's just, again, what I was saying. The pop punk community seems very close to one another. And I think it's really great that they all kind of came together to do that. Because there are a lot of great songs on there that really work well when you lend to like a pop punk sound.
Yeah, I really love that too about the genre. And I don't know, I just like when artists are like that and they just want to like share and collaborate. And it's not seen as like a competition or that you're against each other. So I always appreciate that because that makes it fun for the fans too. Because then the fans can be like, hey, like these guys, like they're going on tour together, they're like best friends and they cover each other's songs, they do like different versions of their songs, and I don't know, they do all kinds of collaborations together. It's just it creates more things for the fans to have and to experience, which just like, I don't know, that bumps the whole genre up. It makes it 10 times better.
Did you have anything else you want to say about this particular song?
No, I'm good.
All right, we can move on to track number 9. Don't Say. What did you think? Say what you think.
Whoa. Yeah, don't not say it. Just say it.
Song's called Don't Say, but we're going to say a lot of things.
Yeah, the song's like almost 4 minutes long, but it feels
shorter.
quick. Yeah, it's a quick song still. At this point in the album, you really start to realize, you're like, well, all these songs kind of sound a little similar. By the time I get to Don't Say and I listen through it, I'm like, it's not one of my favorites. It's still appreciated. It's a great song to sing when you're sad, or to really just like be a sponge and absorb the lyrics when you're feeling down. It sounds a little repetitive when you listen to it, but I honestly feel like the repetitiveness of the lyrics and everything might have like a meaning to the song or have some kind of symbolism.
Yeah.
Because kind of like when you're having like an argument and you're like, you won't listen to me, you're not listening to me, you just, you feel like you have to repeat yourself over and over and over, and your point's still not getting across. They're saying, get away, get away, get away, and the lyrics are very repetitive, and I feel like it has a meaning to it, and it's intentional.
I get that. Listening to this song, again, I do feel as overall there was a bit of a samey kind of vibe with this album, not just in the production side of it, with the music, and I also feel like a bit lyrically, sometimes things were getting a bit repetitive, like you were saying. This song in particular, I feel as though was maybe the lyrics are still good. I'm not hating on the lyrics, but I think maybe it felt a little bit underwritten in comparison to some of the other tracks on here. So like if I had to pick like a least favorite song, this might actually be it. I just think, maybe it's also due to the fact where it's placed on the album because it's following a lot of songs that it had a similar vibe to, had a similar message to. I just think that there could have been a little bit more going on with this song. It just felt a little bit more, like I was saying, a little bit more underwritten compared to some of the other songs. It just didn't hit as well as some of the other songs that already were kind of displaying what this song was saying as well. So I think maybe that's why it's not probably my least favorite song on the album.
Yeah, I mostly agree. I feel like the repetitiveness still has like a meaning to the song because every decision they made creating each song is intentional in some way. The song's a little mid because at this point in the album, it's almost over. You're like, okay, I feel like I've heard this already on the album. Not that this is a bad song. It starts to get repetitive overall. So this song, I ended up rating it a 6 out of 10 for that.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I still like it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I'm kind of like, okay, like, I get it. I understand there's symbolism to this, but at the same time, I'm like ready to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, I actually would agree with that rating. I'd say about a 6 out of 10. I just think there are other songs like this on here already. that I think kind of displayed the message a bit better. I'm not gonna say they should have taken it off because I think it fits fine with the album.
Oh, yeah.
Other songs like fit fine with the album. I wouldn't take anything off. I wouldn't change anything what they were going for with this album. I just think there's other songs that work better than this that are kind of doing the same thing. So that's just my thoughts. Did you have anything else?
No.
All right, with that, we're going to move on to the closing track on the album. This is it. Track number 10, 405.
This song's a banger.
I love this song. Again, it was just very refreshing to hear a bit of a different sound. And again, that's not because I didn't care for the more guitar-driven vibe that this album has, because I love acoustic songs. I love that kind of vibe that albums do have. But this was just nice to have a bit of a change of pace in instrumentation, because this song hits heavy.
Yeah, I really like that this was the last song, well, the last, like, original song on the album, because it's still kind of a sad, kind of nostalgic song, but it's so much more uplifting, and it's a little different from the rest of the songs. Even just the opening, it comes, like, they have everything. They have guitar, drums, they have everything, when most songs are just acoustic. So I just appreciate that they saved this song for last because of that. It almost kind of feels like a song that plays when the credits are rolling at the end of like a 2010 movie.
I get that.
So I kind of get that vibe from it. That's why I kind of appreciate it being the last song.
It gives the album a very strong ending. It starts off very heavy, and I think it hits even heavier at the end. So I really think this is very well placed. I'm not sure if this would have worked midway in the album. Maybe
Yeah.
a good start, but I think it fits best as a finishing song on the album.
Yeah, I don't know if this would work if they put it towards the beginning of it, because when they talk about like going down the 405 and stuff, usually when you talk about, like, to me, you would think like when you're headed somewhere down like a major highway or something, it's like they're moving on, and it's like symbolism for changing, looking forward into the future. So I don't know if this would really work in the beginning for that reason. And also, the band's based in California, so I also kind of imagined when they sing the song, it's kind of like they're quote-unquote riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
I really like the lyrics. I'm learning how to really live my life, because that lyric really hits with this song, and that's basically the vibe of this entire message in the song. You've realized you've changed and you're healing, and now it's time to move on. I really like the ending of the song. I don't know much about guitar effects or anything like that, but like the distortion effect that was on the guitar towards the end was really cool. It's just really fun to listen to it. Like, I can't explain it, but it just sounds really cool.
The production side really came through heavy on this song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really great lyrically as well, but I think the production, the instrumentation really sells the song as opposed to, I think, a lot of the other songs on this album. So that's what really made me enjoy this song. For a rating, I actually gave this a 9 out of 10.
No, you didn't, because I gave it a 9 out of 10.
I can give it a 9 out of 10 too.
You can, but okay, I'm glad though, because we had really similar opinions on this entire album, which I'm really kind of relieved, because this is one of my favorites. And we accept opinions, of course, but I was also really excited to see what you thought of this album.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed this album overall. I'm a bit of a fan. Like, I want to listen to more of this Wildlife. Again, I want to listen to Tonight Alive. I really liked Jenna's voice, because I've listened to this genre, obviously. You know, I do like pop punk. I do like this folksy sort of mix of it as well. It's not something I listen to as much as I think you do, but like, so that's something I'd like to try a little bit more going forward, just in my musical taste.
Yeah, it's so cool to listen to different things that you normally wouldn't. I mean, this is technically the end of the album, but if you like look on their Spotify and look at this album, this is technically a deluxe edition that they put out first, but really what that means is at the end they added 3 more songs to our live sessions. 1 is a cover. I think it's cool that they did that. I always liked hearing different live versions of songs. There's always the question of, what would this sound like live? Like, does it sound better? You know what I mean? Like, we've talked about that a lot.
This song, I think, would really hit well live.
The song would be so fun to hear live. I don't know if I've heard this song live. And also, This Wildlife always does different covers of songs. So they added a cover on this album. They covered Sleepwalking by Bring Me the Horizon, and they did an acoustic version of it, and it actually works really well, and it's one of their like most streamed songs on this album.
It's a really good song, and I also think it works really well just acoustically driven.
Yeah, they take a lot of songs and they just make an acoustic version of them, and it works. I mean, most of the time it works pretty well. There's also another edition of this album called Atmosphere Edition, and it has 3 additional songs on it if you wanted to go and listen to them. I didn't really write any notes on them or anything today, but I will say I am fans of those 3 songs as well.
They have a
Yeah.
similar vibe to the album. I think they would fit. I think any of these songs could have fit well into the standard edition of the album, because they have that similar vibe. Particularly, "Stay Up Late," because that was another one where the instrumentation was a bit heavier. That was probably my favorite of the Atmosphere Edition versions. That was probably my favorite. I really liked that, and I think it would have fit very nicely into the album. I think it's fine that they released like a deluxe version of the album and had included those songs.
Double.
Double.
Yeah.
Can I get a double album?
Let me get a double. Overall, I mean, this is one of my favorite albums, like, from over the years. So the fact that it's 10-year anniversary this year is crazy to me because it does not feel like it's been like 10 years.
Do you have a top 3?
My top 3 are probably, well, Looking Back's my favorite. I've already established that pretty clearly. And my number 2 is probably Over It. I think that's the one where I said it was my second favorite on the album.
Yeah.
Number 3 is it's hard to pick a number 3 for me. It's probably No More Bad Days, just because of how that song has had like a grasp on me my whole life.
Yeah. A top 3 for me, I really liked 405. Thought it was a very strong ending. Concrete. I always say, when it comes to like anything, like an album, a song, a movie, a Broadway show, anything, it's very important to have a strong beginning to pull people in, to make them want to stay. And overall, the best thing that you can have is a really strong ending, so that even if your beginning or your midsection wasn't as strong, a lot of things that people remember are your ending. So like if you have a strong ending, I think people will take away, like it was really good overall, the ending was really great. That's something just a lot of people remember because it's the end. And that song is the end of the standard version, so I think 405 just helped me overall to enjoy the album a bit more because I walked away with something very strong, one of probably my favorite song. So 405, Concrete, and to pick a third, I think I'd say Roots and Branches. I really like that song lyrically.
Those are good picks.
Overall, I really did like this album. It did make me a fan of This Wild Life. It made me want to go listen to more of their music, more music like this. Main issue I had was because of the instrumentation, because of the messages. I think that overall sometimes it got a little bit repetitive lyrically, a little bit repetitive instrumentally, and I think some songs, because of how similar they could have been message-wise lyrically, I think some songs just kind of worked a little bit better than others. Not that I would take anything out. I just think, maybe some of these songs could have been a little bit different lyrically wise, a little bit different in terms of the message, because if you're going to have one song that works well here, this song may pale a little bit in comparison. So I think that was going on sometimes here, but that was just my main issue I think I had with the album. But overall, I thought it was still a really strong album.
What would you rate it?
I'd probably say I'm teetering between 6.5 and 7. I think I'll say 7 because I really think the messages here worked really well. I'll say 7 also because I was mentioning before, I think vocally the passion from their vocals was really helping to cut through, helping to carry the messages of the songs as well. So for that, I'd say 7 out of 10.
That's a pretty solid rating. I'd probably rate this album like a solid 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorites from This Wild Life. The couple points are taken off for the same reasons that you said, is because it starts to get a little repetitive. And even though I love this album so much, I kind of have to be in the mood to listen to it in full. And I'll kind of go through those phases when I listen to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll kind of get obsessed with a certain artist or a genre for a while, and I'll kind of listen to the same things over and over until I'm sick of them, and then I move on to the next thing, and then, the whole circle of doing that. I mean, it was really nice to listen to the album in full again.
This album really works well. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
This album really works well listening to it as a whole. Some albums being pick off songs, bits and pieces here that you want to listen to. And you can do that with any album, but I think some albums just work better in that sense, just taking songs individually as opposed to listening to it as a whole. But I think this album kind of lends itself a bit better to being listened to as a whole, maybe than as opposed to I'll listen to this track, listen to that track. It just flows, the ebbs and flows of this album really work together as a whole.
Yeah, you really get the full picture if you listen to it in full at least one time.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you really have to do, though, with albums, is just you have to give them a chance and you have to listen to them in full in the order that the artist put them in. Really just try to dissect and understand what they're talking about and put it in your own perspective. A little more easier to do that with this album. I really vibe with this band overall. I mean, they're one of my favorites, so so I gave it an 8 out of 10 because it's a classic album from This Wild Life, and they're still doing their own thing, which is really cool. They still do like covers of different songs and stuff. Like in their latest album they put out last year, they covered I Miss You by Blink-182.
Oh, that's a really good song.
So they did an acoustic version of it, which was really cool. They always kind of add their own twist onto things, and they're a very DIY band because it's just two of them, so they kind of do everything themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're very cool.
Yeah, no. With that, that's what we think of the album. We think it's a really good album. We like the band. So, if you're listening to this, let us know what you think. What would you like to see next? Because we have a lot of things coming up on the horizon.
Yeah, we got some things cooking.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm just trying different things.
Okay. If you want a new artist to listen to and you want something a little more folky, a little more calm, this is a great band to get into.
Yeah, but with that's the episode. Again, let us know what you think of the album. We have a lot of things coming up on the horizon for you.
Thanks for listening. This is only our 3rd episode, but
Got a lot more things cooking. We'll see you next time on
the Duck Squad Podcast.